Microsoft's new Xbox is definitely the most powerful console ever made, and what we've seen so far has been impressive. But the question no one can answer right now is how much of a difference that power will make in cross-platform games like Assassin's Creed Origins or Call of Duty World War II. Ahead of launch, only a handful of Microsoft-exclusive games are available with full enhancements. That means we can't yet fully test the $500 Xbox One X's performance head-to-head against its closest competitor, the $400 PlayStation 4 Pro. So, this review will be in progress until shortly after launch on November 7th, but here's what I think so far. Like the One S, the One X can be laid horizontally or vertically and has an internal power supply, so there's no bulky power brick to deal with any longer. Its black matte plastic casing is sleek, but not quite as attractive as the semi-perforated shell and striking white finish Microsoft presented with the One S. And it comes with one standard Xbox One controller in the box. What's under the hood is much more admirable. A faster processor, ample GPU, and sizable high-speed GDDR5 memory all give it an advantage over the PlayStation 4 Pro. And at just 11.8 inches long, 9.4 inches wide, and 2.4 inches high, the Xbox One packs it all into an efficiently compact space that's around 15% smaller than the PS4 Pro, and yet about 15% heavier at 8.4 pounds. It's also as remarkably quiet as the One S, even when it's working hard, and never got warm enough that overheating in a confined space would ever be a concern. In fact, the Xbox One X runs only a few degrees warmer than the One S during 4K enhanced gameplay, and averaged around 15 degrees cooler than the PS4 Pro during our testing. But how much better do all those impressive sounding numbers make your games? It's a complicated question, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer. While any Xbox game you load up will take advantage of the One X's power to run better than it does on the One S, and Microsoft has a list of over 100 existing and upcoming games that are or will be enhanced, the level of enhancement depends on how much support each respective developer has put in, so mileage will vary. The good news is that Microsoft's most popular first-party games have received the royal treatment. Gears of War 4 is a prime example. It supports native 4K resolution and high-definition textures to match, HDR10 for improved color depth and contrast, plus enhanced graphical features. Maybe most importantly of all, the frame rate in the campaign and horde modes is boosted so you can get up to 60 frames per second if you select the performance option in the menu. When all of that is working together, Gears of War 4 on the One X is dramatically smoother and a sharper, deeper visual experience than it is on the One S. And even without HDR, or if you're hooked up to a 1080p display, it's still an obvious upgrade. Likewise, Killer Instinct looks and runs great at 4K and 60 frames per second, though its stylized art doesn't benefit as much from the higher resolution treatment as it does in Gears of War 4. However, other enhanced games from third-party developers that are available ahead of the November 7th launch see much more modest benefits. Games like World of Tanks, Disneyland Adventures, and Super Lucky's Tale mostly get things like minor visual enhancements and frame rate improvements. Testing unenhanced versions of Madden 18 and Middle-earth Shadow of War reveals slight but noticeable improvements. That inconsistency makes the One X almost as much of a guessing game as the PS4 Pro. You just don't know what kind of improvements you're going to get in any given game. But when a game takes full advantage of everything the Xbox One can do, there's a downside. 4K textures are huge. The native 4K versions of both Gears of War 4 and Forza Motorsport 7 weigh in at around a chubby 90 gigabytes each, which is roughly double their install size on the One S. The One X has a 1 terabyte internal hard drive, but at this rate that's going to be consumed just as quickly as the original Xbox One's 500 gigabyte hard drive. Storage space can be easily expanded with any USB hard drive, but that's an extra expense you have to account for on top of this premium console. These monster file sizes can also have an impact on install and load times because so much data needs to be transferred. For example, loading the first campaign level of the native 4K enhanced version of Gears of War 4 took One X roughly 20 seconds, compared to 10 seconds on a One S. On unenhanced games, loading times appeared inconsistent. Some were quicker on the X than the S, and vice versa for others. Like the One S before it, the One X is now the most appealing console for home theater enthusiasts thanks to its Ultra HD Blu-ray drive and Dolby Atmos audio support. That ability to play 4K movies off of physical media is something the competing PlayStation 4 Pro strangely doesn't offer. Beyond that, the One X includes a number of cool upgrades like 4K support for DVR game clips and easy transfer of data between your Xbox consoles through external hard drives or your home network. And the sluggish feeling dashboard that's been a nagging issue on the Xbox One since its launch in 2013 is mostly mitigated. On the Xbox One X, it finally feels as fast as it should have from the beginning. The Xbox One X is a very impressive collection of hardware crammed into a sleek case. It runs cool and quiet as it delivers impressive performance in the enhanced games we've been able to test out so far. It's hard to believe Microsoft exclusives like Gears of War 4 can look so good and run so smoothly on a box that costs less than half of what you'd pay for a high-end gaming PC. Plus, it caters to home theater enthusiasts with 4K UHD Blu-ray playback and Atmos sound. However, the big question of how it compares to the PlayStation 4 Pro in running third-party games remains, for now, unanswered. We won't know for sure until those enhanced updates come out around the November 7th launch, but if I had to score it now, I would give it an 8.7. If you want to see exactly what comes in the retail Xbox One X, you can check out our unboxing. See how the console stacks up by watching our visual history of the entire line of Xbox consoles, or see the dramatic difference between the One X and the One S in our Gears of War 4 graphics comparison.